Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Kettering City Council. Today's date is July 26, 2022. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The invocation will now be offered by Mr. Kleepas.
Thank you, Mayor. Dear Lord, we pray for unity. We've come together as a group, united in passion and purpose. Help us maintain unity as we discuss certain matters and implement projects. We pray for open hearts and minds that will promote and accept better ideas. We seek your honor in everything we do and say. And we ask for your blessings for our community and for all who need our prayers and assistance. Amen.
Thank you, Tony. Next, I would like to recognize our Miami Valley Communications Council TV operator, Mike Saproni. Mike, thank you for your assistance, as always. Mr. Kleepas, could I ask you to approve the minutes for June 28th and July 12th council meeting and workshop meeting?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have reviewed the minutes from the June 28th, 2022 council meeting and the minutes from the workshop of July 12th, 2022, found both to be in order and move for their approval.
Second.
Call the roll.
Mr. Kleepas,
Yes.
Mrs. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Duval,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Lehner.
Yes. Okay. We do have a proclamation this evening. We are very delighted to have with us some representatives from the U.S. Navy. This is Navy Week in Kettering, and Rear Admiral John Spencer will be accepting the proclamation this evening. So I would like to read that and then present it to you. Thank you. Whereas Navy Week highlights special events and programs for the state to increase the community's knowledge and understanding of their Navy, excuse me, and its global mission. And whereas Dayton Navy Week is one of 13 Navy Weeks in 2022, which brings a variety of assets, equipment, and personnel to a single city for a week-long series of engagements designed to bring America's Navy closer to the people it protects. And whereas the city of Kettering is honored to have the presence of the United States Navy in our community. And whereas the state of Ohio is home to more than 10,800 active duty enlisted sailors and naval officers, 1,250 Navy reservists, and 9,000 active duty and reserve retirees. And whereas the United States Navy is instrumental in ensuring the safety and security of $54.4 billion in annual exports from the state of Ohio, and whereas the citizens of Kettering take great pride in supporting our namesake vessel, USS Ohio. Now therefore, I, Peggy Lehner, Mayor of the City of Kettering, Ohio, on behalf of City Council and the community, do hereby proclaim July 25th through the 31st, 2022, to be Navy Week in the city of Kettering, Ohio, and urge all citizens to thank the brave men and women of the United States Navy for their service in our country and our community. And I'll come down here to present it to you.
Right, yeah. Just when you get to the end, just say first reading. Say that.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Let me speak.
So, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time out of what I know is a very important and busy schedule. Navy Week here in Kettering is an event that we do throughout the country more than 12 times a year. And we tend to come to cities that don't have oceans, and therefore, I didn't see one on the way in. Joking aside, to come to cities that don't get regular exposure. You know, I know my Air Force territory here, and you don't get a lot of exposure to the United States Navy. So what we do is we bring in a team of about 50 sailors, and it's a focused group. We have sailors from the USS Ohio. You mentioned the Ohio. It's a submarine stationed on the West Coast. The USS Stout is a destroyer named after Admiral Stout, who was from Dover, Ohio. We also have members of the Navy band here. And throughout the week, these folks are going out to places like Habitat for Humanity, Children's Medical Center, Humane Society, and other places to interact with the public, talk to them a little, provide some service, and talk to them about the United States Navy. What they like to do is to have someone who has roots in that area. And though I live in Georgia now, I grew up and was born and raised in Fairborn, Ohio. Actually, driving in, I remember coming into Kettering often. I think we were in the same sports league back then, so we'd come in to get beat up by you guys in football, and then come back later in wrestling and sometimes have a better shot at beating you. Also with me, my partner this week, Leon Moore, even closer you guys, a Dayton lifetime, or born and raised in Dayton, but graduated from Alter in 1987. So the two of us are both glad to be back here and enjoying our time. And in fact, I have a date with my mom for dinner tonight. So thank you very much for taking the time. And I should mention for all of you that if you're interested, this whole week culminates with a performance by the Blue Angels, the Navy's flight demonstration team, Saturday and Sunday out at Wright Pat as part of the air show. So once again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
your service.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
It's all good.
You're not taking her out?
She's cooking.
Okay. Next, we have an award presentation from the Ohio Police Department Citizenship Awards, and Chief Protzman will be making the presentation this evening. Chief? It's the Kettering Police Department. I did, okay. It's the Kettering Police
We
Department.
are in Ohio, though, Your Mayor. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We are here to give two awards this evening, and first I would like Adrian Alvarenga to come down, please. Sorry.
I love it when other people get corrected. Hi.
So on February 22nd, 2022, an officer responded to JFK Elementary for reports of a student in possession of a firearm. The officer met with school officials, and a firearm was located in a locker, and the student was identified. During the investigation, it was learned that Adrian reported the firearm after seeing it in the student's possession. Adrian, knowing the dangers and seriousness of the situation, was courageous enough to advise his parents about the firearm. His parents immediately contacted school officials, and the incident was resolved without anyone being injured. Adrian is commended for his bravery and for following the rule he was taught: see something, say something. Adrian, great job, buddy. Congratulations.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is so awesome.
No?
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Very good.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Thank you, and thanks for raising such a
Raising a
brave
great
young
guy.
son.
Well done, Adrian.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, you have another one?
We have one more. It is Maya Hodge. Maya, if you want to come down, please. Maya is receiving the Citizens Award of Valor. And on February 15th of 2022, at approximately 7:43 p.m., a one-year-old child was in the roadway near Far Hills Avenue and East Stroop Road. This is a busy intersection in the city of Kettering, especially during that time of day. The child began to wander across lanes of travel, with vehicles quickly approaching and possibly unaware of the child's presence. A passing motorist, Julie Hodge, and her 14-year-old daughter, Maya, saw the child in the roadway and knew immediately he was in danger. Without hesitation, and before her vehicle came to a stop, Maya jumped out and secured the child before the approaching vehicles reached their location. Maya's quick response and disregard for her own safety prevented a potentially life-threatening situation. Her actions that day prove she is nothing less than a hero.
Wow.
Maya.
Very good. Maya, did you want to say anything? No. Okay.
job.
That's right. Thank you so much, and I'm sure the parents.
We do not recommend people jump out of moving vehicles.
No.
Unless it's an incident, we do take exception. So
Right.
thank you, Maya.
Yeah. Do not practice this at home.
Unless there's a one-year-old.
Thank you so much, Chief, too. It is wonderful to see two young people like that honored here tonight. So keep up. Good work. All right. There are no public hearings this evening. It is time, however, if anyone wishes to make any public comment on legislation before us this evening, to come forward at this time. Anyone wishing to speak before council with comments or new information about the legislation on tonight's agenda may do so at this time. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Speakers must state their name and address. Comments should be addressed to council. If you have comments that are not about the legislation on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for those to be heard later in the meeting. Is there anyone present tonight who wishes to speak about the legislation? Okay. Seeing none, we will then move on to ordinances in second reading. There are no ordinances in second reading this evening. We will move on to resolutions, and I would like to call on Mrs. Fisher to introduce legislation.
Well, Your Honor, I do have a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a grant funds from the Ohio Department of Public Safety, the Ohio Division of EMS. It is in the estimated amount of $675.25. None has been budgeted, and it is requested by the fire department, and I move for approval.
Second.
Okay. The legislation has been moved and seconded. Would like to call on the city staff, Mr. Schwederman, to give a further explanation of it.
Thank you, Your Honor. This resolution will authorize us to accept the 2022-2023 Priority 1 Training and Equipment Grant from the Ohio Department of Public Safety, Ohio Division of EMS. The grant award is $675.25. There is no local match required, and the funds will be used for the purchase of emergency medical equipment. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Schwederman? Okay, seeing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Kleepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Okay, yes, okay.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Kettering, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022. The estimated cost is $16,250,029.82 in net transfers, and it's requested by the Finance Department and move for approval.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Once again, I'd like to call on Mr. Schwederman for any additional comments.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will apologize in advance for the long-winded response to this inquiry. We have a rather lengthy supplemental appropriation for 2022 this evening. The first item is $25,000, which is requested related to the pickleball renovations at Kennedy Park. The Kettering Park Staff Foundation has received a $25,000 donation for the shelter portion of that project, and tonight we are appropriating that $25,000 expenditure. We also have an appropriation of $675.25 to appropriate the grant from Resolution Number 1. We have an appropriation of $14,600 for the Rosewood project. This is an appropriation for the landscape design that will be funded from funds raised through the Kettering Parks Foundation. We have an appropriation of $13,709,754.57 for the use of the American Rescue Plan ARPA funds for public safety personnel expenditures. The City of Kettering has received 2 tranches of funding and will expend those funds in accordance with ARPA guidelines. The City of Kettering's estimated revenue loss due to COVID-19 is in excess of the funds received, and thus we can use the ARPA funds for the provision of government services such as public safety personnel. In 2021, the city spent $145,000 for the installation of touchless faucets in the government center facilities. In 2022, the city will use the remaining ARPA funds of $13,709,754.57 for the expenditure of public safety personnel. The personnel costs are recorded as an expenditure in the ARPA fund and a credit to our general fund for both police and fire department personnel expenditures. In addition, several projects previously recorded in the ARPA fund will be reclassified and moved to the general fund and capital improvement fund. Specifically, the $1 million down payment and rehab assistance program will be recorded in the Planning and Development Department's operating budget, and the $1.5 million Gentilly Park project will be recorded in the Capital Improvement Fund. A general fund transfer of $1.5 million is requested for that Gentilly Park project. So as you will recall, when we prepared the 2022 budget, we had estimated and planned for the ARPA expenditures to fund capital equipment, capital improvement, and community programs. During 2022, in an effort to reduce the administrative burden of tracking the ARPA funds, we decided that we would utilize the ARPA funds for public safety personnel expenditures. And then the money not spent on those expenditures, equivalent and equal to the ARPA funds, will be spent on the capital improvement, capital equipment, and community program funds that had been approved by City Council and discussed at previous council meetings and workshops. So while the finished product will remain the same, the method we're getting there is being done this way to reduce the administrative burden for tracking of those expenditures. Again, I apologize for the long-winded explanation. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
That's quite all right. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Kleipas,
Yes.
Mrs. Hall,
Yes?
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Duval,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Laner.
Yes. Before I move on to ordinances in first reading, I neglected to say that Mr. Duke has an excused absence for this evening. Jill, I believe it's up to you, Mrs. Hall.
Mayor, I have an ordinance in the first reading to repeal subsection 94.05D of the codified ordinances regulating knives in parks. This is being requested by the Law Department. This is a first reading.
Okay, thank you. Certificates and petitions, Ms.
Hamer.
Kaczynski. Oh, that's right, I'm sorry, yeah, it's first reading, so I skipped you, Ted.
That's all right, Your Honor, but thank you. The Ohio General Assembly enacted Section 9.68 of the Ohio Revised Code, which prohibited municipalities from adopting firearm regulations in conflict with the Ohio Revised Code. And the Supreme Court ruled that that section was constitutional and that cities had to comply with it. Now, the General Assembly has amended Revised Code Section 9.68 to include knives, so that cities are now prohibited from adopting or enforcing knife regulations that are in conflict with those contained in the Ohio Revised Code. So this ordinance will repeal codified ordinance subsection 941.05D, prohibiting possession of knives with blades exceeding 3 inches in city parks in order to comply with the Ohio Revised Code. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's first reading. Ms. Kaczynski, do you have any certifications or petitions?
Your Honor, we do not have any certifications or petitions this evening.
Okay, thank you. Now ready for the manager's report, Mr. Schwedeman?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a few items for you tonight's community update. The first is just a reminder that our Phrase season is underway, and tickets can be purchased at Phrase Fanfare at Town and Country Shopping Center or at phrase.com or etix.com. We have shows coming up throughout August and in the first week of September. The next item we have is Neighborhood Pride, and just reminding everybody that we are accepting nominations for Neighborhood Pride Award winners. You can contact our volunteer office at 296-2433 to nominate your neighbor. The community hot dog roast will begin starting tomorrow. We have 3 events, July 27th, August 3rd, and August 8th. The first being tomorrow night at Poland Farm. August 3rd will be at the Kettering Recreation Complex, and August 8th at Habitat. The events will go from 5:30 to 7. We appreciate the partnership with the City of Kettering Schools, the Partners for Healthy Youth, the Kettering Health Network, My USA, as we put these hot dog roasts on for the community. We invite everybody to attend. National Night Out will take place this coming Tuesday, August the 2nd. National Night Out for the Kettering Police Department will be here at the Kettering Government Center Complex at 3600 Schroyer Road. The Optimist Kids Day in the Park will take place Saturday, August 6th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. At Delco Park. We'll certainly encourage all the kids and their parents to come out for that event. A great event, again, in partnership with the Optimist Club and the City of Kettering. Our community block party was rained out in early June, so we are back with another date. It will be Tuesday, August 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. In the Lincoln Park Civic Commons. And our last item for tonight is just a reminder that the City of Kettering Police Department does have a vacation house check program, and if they would like to, residents would like to sign up for that, they can visit the website to sign up for that, or they can call the Kettering Police Department. And Your Honor, that's all I have for the community update this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Schwedeman. Does anyone have any questions or comments about his report? Okay, thank you. At this time, if you would like to come to speak before council on a non-legislative issue, please come down to the podium. Each speaker will have a 5-minute limit. Speakers are asked to state their name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak before City Council? Okay, no one. We will now move on to City Council reports. I'd like to start with Mrs. Fisher.
Well, Your Honor, the area that I want to highlight has to do with the 4th of July. I had an opportunity to go to Winsler Daycare and observe their awesome little parade as the kids were marching up and down the streets. The residents were just overwhelmed with joy watching the kids go through their neighborhood. And they actually collected food for the local pantry. So kind of a win-win-win out of Winsler. And then I'd also like to uplift and appreciate the opportunity to speak on your behalf, ma'am, at Go Forth. It's just an awesome opportunity for everybody in our community to go to a free event, very well attended, lots of folks, and a great time to also uplift our military that have served in our community as well. So that would be my highlight, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kleepas.
I'll follow up to Mrs. Fisher's comment about Go Forth and really cite the staff, the city, and all the folks that are involved in putting that together. And boy, we had a great day. The weather was good, and the crowd was unbelievable. And the fireworks were fantastic. So thanks for all the work that a lot of people do to make that thing successful. On the 21st, I know the mayor and I stopped over to bid congratulations and farewell to Captain Mike Gallagher. Gabrielson. Gabrielson moves on to become police chief in Loveland, Ohio. So we wish him well, and thank him for all the years of service to the city of Kettering. The last thing I want to mention is on the 22nd, a nice city event was held at Delco for the employees called Dog Days of Summer. And the highlight of the event wasn't a few food trucks that were there, but it was the dunking tank that was there. And I know that some of our folks paid big money to get dunked and dunk others, one being the city manager, I know. The proceeds went to local animal control, and I thought it was great. It was a nice event that day. So enjoyed seeing what went on there. And last but not least, when you have a choice, shop Kettering. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Mrs. Hall?
I don't have a report for the good of the order tonight.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Scott?
I'll be brief. I was amazed again at the two young folks that were recognized this evening. I guess I shouldn't be surprised at what kids do, but it makes me feel better about the upcoming generations that we've got two young people like that in our city. It's a tribute to their parents as well. I would also make a comment. Unfortunately, I noticed on our own Chief Protsman's badge this evening, he's got the black band on it for the unfortunate officer in Clark County from Sunday. It's just a sad reminder that our first responders put their lives on the line every flippin' day that they go out, okay? So our heart goes out to the folks in Clark County. And last but not least, speedy recovery to our colleague Bruce Duke as he recovers.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Duval?
Speaking of Bruce, I was pleased to sit in on interviews for the Kettering Leadership Academy for the upcoming class. And based on the interviews, it's going to be an amazing class. There's some wonderful people who have applied. I think it's going to be a wonderful experience for all of them. And my only other thing tonight is that the Board of Community Relations is in the early stages of planning for next year's Juneteenth event. If anyone is interested in joining the steering committee, please reach out to our volunteer office, and we will get back to you. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have sort of felt like it's a long time since I've been at a council meeting between vacation and then COVID isolation, so, but it's great to be back. I have spent a good deal of my time since I got back working with Don Kirshner and Steve Bergstresser to interview people for our new sustainability committee. This is a committee that we're standing up to address some of those issues that weren't even around 5 or 10 years ago, but that are now with us. And we're looking to put 10, 12 people together on a committee that's going to make recommendations both to staff and to council, as well as to do some research on some of those areas as they come up. And I have to tell you, I am just in awe of the quality of the people that are coming forward to serve on this committee. Not only do they have the real heart to spend a lot of time and effort helping make this a beautiful community, they come to us with so much experience and wealth of knowledge that it's really exciting to see. So our biggest problem we're having is how in the world do we narrow it down to a small enough group of people to work. So the whole project sort of seems to grow as we have interviews. But we're still taking applications, so if anyone wants to apply, call the city manager's office and we will send you an application. I don't think there's anything further on that to add, but thanks for all the hard work that everybody puts into making this just a first-class city. So thank you. With that, our next meeting will be held on August 9th, 2022, and this meeting is adjourned.